In the beginning of the episode, Komari gets ready to go to school, and then Nukumizu sends her this photo, and this photo brings a smile on her face, and then Komari asks Senpai, "Why are you here?" Senpai says, "There's no way I'm making my sleepy Komari-chan go to school by herself." And then she takes her to school. After this, Nukumizu goes to student council office and says, "Excuse me?" Tiara gets startled and asks, "What do you want?" And Shigeya says, "Tiara-chan, say the word." Meow, say it. And watching them, Nukumizu wonders, "This is student council office, right?" Then Shigeya says, "You are refusing the chairwoman's request?" Tiara says, "Never." "Alright, I will do it." Then Tiara asks Nukumizu, "What can I help you with?" Meow. Nukumizu says, "Here's a picture of our completed exhibit." Tiara says, "Alright, we have officially received it." Shigeya says, "Tiara-chan." And Tiara says, "We have officially received it." Meow. Nukumizu wonders, "What am I being exposed to here?" Then Nukumizu goes to Komari-chan. Komari says, "You're late, Nukumizu." Nukumizu says, "You sure got here early today." Komari says, "Tsukinoki-senpai picked me up." Then she says thank you to Nukumizu and says, "You turned everything I wrote into a really nice display." Nukumizu says this was all Asagumo-san's. "I mean, you should thank Yakishio's friend for it. She's the one who did the layout." Komari says, "But you printed it out so nicely." Nukumizu says, "My friend and president Tamaki helped with that." "Impressive, huh?" Komari asks, "Then what about the room decorations?" Nukumizu says, "Those were Tsukinoki-senpai's idea. All those guys were roped in to help by Yanami-san and Komari says, "Let me compliment you on something." Nukumizu says, "What's this? You want to compliment my work? Very well, don't hold back. Shower me with compliments." Komari says, "Drop dead." After this, Nukumizu says, "Yanami-san said she has some free time this afternoon and can take over for a while." Komari says, "Our senpai said they will come after their assembly too." And then the chairwoman's announcement. "This is the Suwabuki High School Student Council. We are expecting a number of guests from outside today, so please remember that each and every one of you represents Suwabuki and don't do anything that may tarnish our reputation." So without further ado, the 98th Suwabuki Fest is open. Komari says, "That little kid said he read the picture book reports." Nukumizu says, "And he even bought a pancake, huh?" Then this little girl comes. Nukumizu says, "Hi, if you collect all the stamps, you get a treat." Then Nukumizu thinks, "I guess I find it easier to talk to people who aren't my own age." The chairwoman says, "A collaboration between literary works and food. That's an interesting concept. I'm taking a look." Nukumizu says, "Sure," and asks, "Is this an inspection?" Chairwoman says, "You may view it that way if you like. This is a well-made exhibit. However, the Lit Club has been in trouble countless times in the past. The next time something happens," Nukumizu says, "will we be dissolved?" Chairwoman says, "Dissolution? Maybe a little too severe. How about something like a temporary dissolution?" Nukumizu asks, "What's a temporary dissolution?" Chairwoman says, "I'm not exactly sure, but I guess if you get temporarily dissolved 3 times, you are out. But I'm not exactly sure." Nukumizu thinks she seems pretty eccentric too. Then Tiara enters and says, "Chairwoman, we are on a very tight inspection schedule." Meow. "What in the world are you doing in a place like this?" Meow. Nukumizu says, "This is the literature club's exhibit." Tiara says, "Huh? It is?" Meow. "In that case, please excuse me." Meow. Chairwoman says, "I'll be on my way now." Tiara asks Chairwoman, "When will you be changing into costume?" Meow. Chairwoman says, "I don't intend to." Shigeya says, "Splendid." Exhibit. Nukumizu asks Senpai, "Have you been lying to the vice chairwoman?" Shigeya says, "Tiara-chan is cute and gullible." "And now you are also a vampire." Karen says, "We are finally of the same kind, darling. Let's get married." Then Nukumizu comes to Komari-chan and he asks, "What happened? Has Amanatsu-sensei been bullying you?" Komari says, "She said something to me." Then Amanatsu says to Nukumizu that these peanut things are really tasty. "Did you make them yourself?" Nukumizu says, "No, my little sister did." She then asks, "Nukumizu, does your little sister have a big brother?" Nukumizu says, "That would be me." Amanatsu says, "No, not you. Someone around 30 with a steady job would be ideal." Nukumizu says, "The next time I see my relatives, I will ask if they can think of anyone." Konuki-sensei says, "Oh, how sweet." When Kona Yanami finds her ideal man, I would sure like to ride. I would sure like to meet him. Amanatsu says, I will never let you near him, Konuki-chan. Nukumizu thinks, this is such a bad influence on the kids. I wish they would hurry up and leave. Komari says, something's coming, and this something is Yanami. She asks, how it's going? Nukumizu says, nice to see you, Yanami-san. Yanami says, oh, you do have guests. Nukumizu says, your costume's a little dirty. Is it okay? Yanami says, yeah, it's chocolate. The kids who come over to see me all have chocolate on their hands or bits of candy stuck around their mouths. Nukumizu says, I don't know why, but that kind of makes sense. Yanami says, I will watch the shop for a while, so you guys go take a break. Nukumizu says, thank you. Back in a bit. Yanami says, one more thing. Don't you dare set foot in the club room, okay? Nukumizu says, but I have a book I need to finish. Yanami says, then I shall burn it. Nukumizu asks, then where are we supposed to go? Yanami says, you are both going to go and enjoy the festival. Komari says, I don't really want to. Yanami says, as a girl in a literature club, you at least need a boy or two to dot on you. I know this is Nukumizu-kun we are talking about, but he's still a boy, right? Then these two sits here. Komari says, someone in the classroom just now told me they wanted time to read the reports and asked if they could take pictures of them. Nukumizu says, really? That's great. Then Nukumizu asks, where should we go after we eat? Komari says, I don't care. Anywhere you want is fine. Nukumizu thinks if you didn't know any better, it could look like there was something between us. I would prefer to avoid such a misunderstanding. Komari, I have a suggestion to make. As an experiment, would you mind calling me Big Brother? Have you gone totally nuts? Nukumizu says, no wait, I don't mean anything weird by it. But when we are eating together like this, it almost looks like we are here on a date. Then Nukumizu thinks, when they see a girl choking on udon, they might not assume that after all. Chihaya says, I made it myself. It can shoot holes in a soda can quite easily. Nukumizu says, this is a deadly weapon. I brought Komari from my club with me. Oi, Komari. Chihaya says, you're that Komari-san. The reports you wrote for the exhibit were wonderful. Komari says, well, thank you very much for your help. Chihaya says, not at all. I found it fascinating. I was especially enthralled by how it so skillfully aligned male social camaraderie with structures of romantic engagement. You must be a tremendous Fujoshi, Komari-san. I don't have any other Fujoshi friends, so I must say I'm absolutely intrigued. Please, when you have a moment, tell me all of your favorite BL works. After this, Nukumizu says, I got a message from Yakishio. What do you think? Wanna say hi before we go back? Komari says, there are too many people outside. Nukumizu says, okay, I'll go say hi to her by myself. Yakishio says, oh, it's Nukun. Nukumizu asks, what the heck are you wearing? Yakishio says, I'm dressed as track and mask. And here is the menu of available challenges. Nukumizu says, face lady track and mask in a no handicap 100-meter race. I think I'll pass on that one. And out of nowhere, Takahashi says, then why don't I challenge you instead? Yakishio says, whoa, Takabo, long time no see. Remember, we were both sprinters on the track team in middle school. Takahashi the slacker. Nukumizu thinks, why the heck would I know him? Yakishio asks, so are you still running track? Takahashi says, yeah, I've been training tons recently. I'm sure I can beat your 100-meter time now. Yakishio says, alright, so you're gonna challenge me. Takahashi says, that's why I'm here. However, if I win, will you go see a movie with me? A movie with Takabo? Yeah, okay. So we are on for a 1500-meter race. Takashi says, yeah, not the 100-meter? Yakishio says, well, you're faster than me on the 100-meter, right? Takashi says, yeah, but Yakishio says, shoelaces done up, all warmed up. Okay, on your marks. And Yakishio wins the race and Takahashi falls on the ground. Nukumizu says, poor guy's gonna be traumatized. And the next ones is in the courtyard. Princess Anna, I love you. Don't die. Please don't die. Princess Anna. Nukumizu thinks, how can a ghost die? What a crappy script. After this, Tamaki says, oh, Nukumizu, been waiting for you. Komari says, hurry up and help. Nukumizu says, there was a lot going on, like a lost love and a ghost's rear death scene. Nukumizu wonders if I should stop her. Tamaki says, I'm really grateful, Nukumizu. Koto and I couldn't have pulled this off ourselves. Nukumizu says Komari put everything she had into it. After this, Tamaki thanks everyone and says the literature club's exhibit, Edible Readings, had a total of 117 visitors. We sold 40 treats and 14 copies of our newsletter. I couldn't have ended my presidency with a better event, and it's all thanks to you guys. And Tamaki gets emotional, and then the announcement of the chairwoman. It is 4 p.m. The 98th Suwabuki Fest has now concluded. After this, Nukumizu says to Tsukinoki, I guess with this means you too have graduated from the club now. That makes me a little sad. Tsukinoki says, that's a nice thing to say, but I bet you're really thinking good riddance, aren't you? Nukumizu says, polite conversation greases the wheels of society. Tsukinoki says, you have become a pretty smooth talker, Nukumizu. Nukumizu says, I think Komari is feeling some pressure over becoming the club president. Tsukinoki says, I'm sure she is. Nukumizu says, there's already a president's meeting coming up next weekend. People will be giving self-introductions and club activity reports. Do you think you could help support her for just a little bit longer? Tsukinoki says, I wish I could, but that's your role now, Nukumizu-kun. I don't mean it in a romantic way, but you are the only one who can stand by her side. That's how it is now. Nukumizu says, I don't really know, but it feels like Komari doesn't let me get too involved. Tsukinoki says, are you sure? I think Komari-chan really depends on you, Nukumizu. That's why I wanted you to be vice president. Nukumizu says, but it's still very different from the way you two handle things. When something's important, she has a habit of pushing people away. The only people she lets in are you and... Then Nukumizu says, the president sure is late. Tsukinoki says, the fact that you and I are here must mean he's alone with Komari-chan right now. Nukumizu says, yeah, I guess. Nukumizu asks, would you like one? Tsukinoki says, don't mind if I do. You know, I'm actually a very cold, calculating bitch. I knew Komari-chan had a thing for Shintaro way before she told him, but I thought she would never make a move. I definitely underestimated her. I was sure I would never lose to a girl like that. But that night at camp, if Komari-chan hadn't been so brave, and Shintaro and I hadn't talked things out, everything might have turned out differently. After all of it feels like I used Komari-chan as a stepping stone to my own happiness. Nukumizu says, is that why you have deliberately given the two of them some alone time? After this, Nukumizu asks Komari-chan, did you get to talk to the president? She says, I gave him my thanks. Nukumizu says, good, he's been such a great guy to me all this time. I really should thank him too. Komari says, Nukumizu, you only joined the club a little while ago. Nukumizu says, on paper I'm still your senpai though. Komari says, did you forget that you were a ghost, remember? And I dug you out of your grave? Nukumizu says, was I really dead and buried? Then Komari says, I'm so grateful to our senpai. The president even thanked me. He said it was all because of me the club had made it this far. Nukumizu says, that was nice of him. Komari says, yeah, but I know I'm going to start seeing him less and less now, and my feelings for him are going to get weaker and weaker, and I don't want that. Nukumizu says, maybe it's for the best. Komari says, for the best? Why? Nukumizu says, how should I put it? I don't really like the phrase time heals all wounds, but I do think some things need time to resolve themselves. Komari says, funny coming from someone who's never been dumped. I kind of get it though. It's painful to hold on to something, just waiting for it to end. So I'm glad I got to let some of my feelings out today. Nukumizu says, wait. You didn't ask him out again, did you? Komari says, what? There's no way I would do that. I just asked him if he ever liked me. Yeah, I asked him if Tsukinoku-senpai hadn't been here, would he have liked me instead? Nukumizu asks, and what did he say? Komari says, he's always so kind. I really enjoyed the time the three of us spent together, him, me and Tsukinoki-senpai. But when we were at camp, I was ready to throw that all away. So I told him I wasn't just trying to make a good memory out of all of this. But even then, he accepted all of me, even the negative parts. I'm still glad that I liked him. And that's the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like, share and subscribe. See you next time.